everybody, just calm down.
Girl, just calm down.
That's funny.
Hey guys, welcome to the Everybody Just Calm Down the podcast. I'm your boy Poe Theory.
I'm Jared, and no Danielle.
Right. And I'm Danielle. She don't do that voice. Apparently she has to take care, or no, she has to be in a what do we call them? An involved parent. Her daughter had a recital, so she has to make sure she fulfills all of her obligations, so she's not so she doesn't have a broken home,
Right.
essentially.
Her family of four.
Right, that lovely family of four that she always talks about. So yeah, Jared, how's your week thus far?
It's really good. I'm excited that tomorrow's my Friday. I have a little trip, so.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So,
Dope.
I mean, work is, how like work when you have time off come in and all of a sudden they start throwing shit at you just for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's been going on, but I've been getting it done.
I know that's right.
How's yours?
My week has actually been really good. I went to you guys can't see it, but I went to Kendrick Lamar and SZA's concert last night, which was so much fun. I had a lot of fun. I'll make sure I do not bring this concert T-shirt to DC because I have yet to get my Lucky Day T-shirt from your production staff. That asshole.
Well, thank you,
I
dog.
forgot to take it back when I was there last time.
Child, I feel like I was at the concert too. You posted 20 million stories, so
Listen,
shit, I was
had
at the
to
concert
delete some too.
Oh,
Child, I got so drunk. So it was funny. I went to go get tested. Well, it was my regular checkup, but it was like the 3-month checkup thing that you got to do. Chlamydia and gonorrhea always comes back quick. That one comes back pretty fucking quick. And so that one came back. It was obvious. Well, not obviously. These folks don't know what kind of horny shit I'd be doing, but it came back negative. Praise the Lord. That was easy because they found that in piss or whatever. But the blood work was taking a little too long. I said, now hold on now. Now wait a goddamn minute. And then Piedmont called me. And I was like, oh my God.
While you were at the concert?
Christ, they done got me. No. This was maybe, let's say I got tested on Friday. Monday was the day they called me. And I said, you know what? I'm not answering. I'm not in the headspace to know whatever the fuck. So then I looked at my portal and I was like, oh, there's still no results. So literally yesterday I'm at the concert and he's in the middle of playing We Gonna Be All Right. And then I get a notification from my chart, your results are in. And I'm like, okay, so I open it. And it said, negative, you're good or whatever. And I was just like, oh, wow. Like, this song is playing, we gonna be all right. And then, you're gonna be all right. Praise the Lord. Not that I had a scare or anything like that, but, it was just, so you never know.
I mean, did you ever find out why they was calling you? Maybe we should talk about that offline.
Oh, it was billing.
Oh, so you just a broke bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
Essentially. So, guys, let's get into these topics. First of all, in preparation for my segment of all the things, I never realized Ryan Coogler was so fine.
Oh, really? Is he?
Oh, my God. He's doing the really thick mustache and straight backs. He looks so good. And then he got that LA kind of accent. It's just,
I don't know what he looks like. He can walk right past me right now.
Oh, Jesus. I cannot. So Ryan Coogler, who is the director of the box office blockbuster hit Sinners, he has broken 1,000,001 records with the movie Sinners. I actually saw it last Saturday. Have you seen it yet?
I have not had the pleasure.
You have to see it. It is a phenomenal movie. As a person that does not like horror movies or anything that has anything to do with gore or I'm not a fan, but it's weird to say, but it was like so much black joy in a horror movie where I feel like Jordan Peele, a lot of his movies are centered around black trauma.
Yeah.
And this one, I didn't feel that way. I wanted to bring up just how monumental the movie Sinners is, but then there's also something that's happening on the flip side of how people are responding to it outside of our culture. Even when we are achieving monumental heights when we're achieving such great heights and strides in life, people are just haters. And it brings me to this lovely, was not a lovely tweet, it's a shitty tweet from Variety magazine. This tweet was made on Monday after opening weekend. And it basically says Sinners has amassed $61 million in its global debut. It's a great result. It's a great result for an original R-rated horror film. Yet the Warner Brothers release has a $90 million price tag before global marketing expenses. So profitability remains a ways away. Now, I am not a fan of people saying, I'm bringing this motherfucker to the cookout, shit like that. I don't believe in just throwing people to the cookout and shit like that. But obviously, there was a lot of backlash from that tweet because, again, we are speaking about opening weekend. There are not many movies that surpass their budget in opening weekend. So instead of just focusing on how this movie, this black-led movie that was directed by a black man with an almost all black cast except for one, broke so many records, but you're saying, but profitability remains a ways away when they're only in their first weekend. And so Ben Stiller, who knew he was down for the get down in the way, he responds to the tweet and says, in what universe does a $60 million opening for an original studio movie warrant this headline? What did Dr. Jackie say? You're showing your slip.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing an interview on Democracy Now! And he also has a deal with Warner Brothers where he gets $1 out of every movie ticket that is sold. And then he also gets to own the rights after 25 years of the movie being out or whatever the case may be. Now, obviously, there was a lot of feedback saying, oh my God, this is a huge, momentous deal. But it's actually not that big of a deal. I'm sure Quentin Tarantino and other directors have been able to get this type of deal. So in this interview, he goes on to say this. Okay.
In making Sinners, the arrangement you had with Warner Brothers. The New York Times reports Warner Brothers agreed to spend $90 million to make Sinners and agreed to give you a cut of gross ticket sales, now rare arrangement known as first dollar gross, meaning before they recoup their costs, you're getting money as well. Warner also agreed, and this is absolutely key, to relinquish its ownership of the film to you after 25 years. The Times reports, quote, some rival film companies were horrified that Warner Brothers would give a film away even after a period of time.
I'll maybe add some context that maybe those articles didn't add. I'm not the first filmmaker to get any of these deals. And Warner Brothers is not the first studio to provide these deals to a filmmaker. So like I think that a lot has been made of my deal in particular. I'm not totally sure why. I have my guesses. But
there's so much focus on him being the first or one of the first black directors to get this type of deal. And I think the premise of the conversation should be switched because I've always had an issue when we speak about, oh, he was the first to do this, he was the first to do that. And it's like, well, was he actually the best person in his field to get this deal? Or did he just happen to run into the right white people to give him this deal? I guarantee you, there were plenty of other directors that have come before him that should have deserved that deal. And the question should change from, wow, how do you feel about getting this deal, to how come you're the first? Like, why did it take so long for you to get that deal? And I kind of feel like that's what he was kind of trying to get to. And you see these things within the headlines of how shitty, how people just the world that we live in, essentially.
Right.
But your thoughts?
No, same. And then it's like he mentioned, he's not the first person to get a deal like this, which I'm sure is fact. However, we wouldn't know because it's never news. So why is it news when this person gets a deal like this? Of course, we all know why. But I'm sure there are plenty of other white directors who have had similar deals or possibly better deals that we never even hear about. Who knows what kind of deals they had going on? But they're not working for free, and they're definitely making money and making money in their own ways. And even like you mentioned Quentin Tarantino. And I was reading an article where they mentioned this. They were talking about this Variety article and the way that they put this tweet out there with this interesting headline, but then noted that when you compare it to Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which made 10% less during this opening weekend, but there was no fodder around that. Mind you, that was pre-COVID. So, and there was still no fodder. Another thing similar being said about that type of film. So why is this film and this opening and this deal with this director being painted in this light where we are supposed to take a microscope or scrutinize it or see it in some kind of negative faction? It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's literally like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. I think they said he had the smallest drop in percentages from first weekend to second weekend, where normally, the ticket sales from first week to second week drops precipitously. His was only 6%.
Yeah, specifically for a horror film, they see a big drop.
Right, 100%. Yeah, because this is actually a really good point, because when you think about horror movies, it more people are willing to spoil a horror movie than anything, and the fact that even if it was spoiled for people, I think that's why I always feel like we should push against the premise of Black people that we don't support each other, because when we get our arms around something, especially something that is within media, we stand 10 toes down for it.
Yes. But now, with that being said, we're not just going to support anything. Like, I'm not paying for a Tyler Perry film. I'm sorry. I'm going to support quality. I'm not just going to see anything. Yeah.
No, I agree with that.
This is the quality. Yeah. But this is what happens when Black creators put out Black quality and you see the results.
Hello? Come on now. I love that. That's what happens when Black creators put out Black quality. That's a quote. I need to write that down. Because at the end of the day, that is very true. I would just like people to push back a little bit more in these interviews, because if you do not push back on the premise, then the question that they are asking, it reinforces the falsehood in the premise. It reinforces that he was the first. He is very deserving of everything that's happening for him right now. But it reinforces the premise that Spike Lee was never deserving of this deal. That Ava DuVernay was not deserving of this deal. Patricia, I'm blanking her first name, but Gina, is it Gina? Gina Prince Blackwood. Her last name is Blackwood. She did
Love and Basketball.
Yes, that she wasn't deserving of that deal.
As everyone knows, we recently finished recapping Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and one of the central, if not the central storyline, was this whole separation between PK and Dorit Kemsley. Well, this past weekend, PK was spotted pulling a Mauricio and kissing a mystery woman. The photographs leaked by whoever. It was a blonde woman. We found out she's actually a reality star. She was on The Amazing Race.
Really?
Her name is Shanna something. I don't remember the last name. But she's on The Amazing Race. As many people have pointed out, she shares a slight resemblance or a striking resemblance, whatever your opinion is, to Dorit herself. So that leaks. Shortly thereafter, Dorit filed for divorce. So it's become official that Dorit and PK are officially divorcing. They got there way quicker than Kyle and Mauricio. Since the divorce has come out, we found a few more things. It was confirmed that they do in fact own their house, so good for them. They're not renting.
Right.
Apparently they don't have a prenup. They're worth an estimated $50 million. I'm not sure what kind of debts they have. Dorit, of course, is asking for full custody, and for PK to pay her legal bills. I think PK is saying that anything that happened in the time that they were on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is community property. There's a lot going on with this. So I think it's going to be a messy divorce. But yeah, this is happening. I'm sure we'll see it play out on this next season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, because I'm sure this is not going to be wrapped up anytime soon. Yeah. Are you surprised? Thoughts?
After this last season with Dorit, nothing. That her behaving in this way does not surprise me at all. I think how Dorit has handled the separation and now what we know will be a divorce is admirable, in my opinion. It seemed like she was very honest. Like, even on the reunion when Andy asked her, do you think about dating? She says yes. Are you still in love with him? Yes. Like, it feels very honest and real. Like it's my homegirl going through a divorce or something like that. In terms of how she's experiencing and what she feels. And I just, to be real with you, seeing that photo and pulling the trigger like that, hats off to you. Like, go off. Like, I appreciated that. Like, I'm not sitting here. I'm like, no shade to Kyle, but I'm not going to sit here and see this and watch this and then we stay married. Like, why?
Speaking of which, so yeah, to piggyback on that, I was the same. But just based off of how we saw Dorit act this season and her attitude towards not only PK but also her co-stars, and just, I don't want to say she was reactionary, but she was definitely reactionary, and I could definitely see her seeing this picture and jumping in the car and going right to the damn courthouse to file this paperwork. But with that being said, there's also some online fodder speculating if PK did this on purpose to try to get her to pull the trigger, so to speak.
I just don't believe, like, for me, what do we know where that photo was taken? Like, where, like, what city or state, or?
I think it was in LA, if I'm correct.
Okay, so, and that's what makes
Somebody
me
in the
feel
comments
like,
correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure.
right.
Or I'll get a DM.
That's what makes me think that it was intentional, because it's LA, paparazzi are everywhere. And I know a lot of people are always like, oh my God, like, who the hell knows PK, or who the hell knows Mo? It keeps popping up. And it's not always the paps that are taking these photos. It's us that are taking the photos.
That's very fair.
And
everybody's a paparazzi these days.
Right. And say, oh, this, you know what I saw? Let me send this to TMZ so they can give me my tag, and then people will start following me. You know what I mean? Like, that's what people do. And so I just feel like, and now, especially you giving me the information that she's a reality star. You're not kissing anyone. Beyonce, our biggest stars, know how to avoid cameras.
Mm-hmm.
And you cannot tell me that you kissing a woman on the street, you didn't think you would be seen. So I could see that.
I was listening to Humble Brag earlier this week, and this actually came up. Cynthia and Krista were talking about paparazzi in LA, and they were naming specific places where paparazzi always are. They were talking about the airport, Nobu, this place called Catch.
Yes.
And they named specific restaurants, and they was like, they basically said, there's certain spots in LA where there'll always be paparazzi because they know that the people are there, or sometimes the restaurants, we even call them. But they said basically anywhere else, these random pictures on the street or on the beach or anything like that, they said, no, that person called them.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like with Katie and Heather.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, and then especially she's like, oh. Like, come on. So, no, 100%. The only thing that I can't, and maybe like if we have some lawyers that follow us, why does it matter that she did it first? Why couldn't he pull the trigger?
I know. Well, this came up too with Drew and Ralph. Remember when the story broke that they filed for divorce, and they were saying that basically both of them were like racing to the courthouse, and she filed like a few minutes before him. And of course, divorce laws are different by state, so who knows what the difference is between Georgia and California. But I think from what I've heard, and maybe we should do a little research or somebody can fill us in, I think it does make a difference at some points or some places who files first.
I know in California, if you are not the breadwinner and you're getting a divorce, you want to get divorced in California.
But there was also that thing too about where they were saying that they believe she was trying to wait for the 10-year mark because after 10 years, the stipulations changed, and apparently she filed right before the 10-year mark.
No, she's already after it.
Is she after it?
It would have to be after it, right? Oh my God, she better not. If she's that reactionary, that would be crazy. She cannot be that reactionary. She better not be that reactionary to file before the 10 years.
Unless, to your point, maybe at this point, Dorit is the breadwinner.
There's no way that she's the breadwinner. I hope she's not the breadwinner.
What is PK doing these days? And then he was in debt, and I don't know what he actually does these days. I mean, if he's still managing Boy George, but what is Boy George doing?
Yeah, but we don't think about. I'm trying to think of like any other house husbands that we like. What did Mario do?
Well, I think Ramona was the breadwinner.
Oh, fair, she was. Yeah. Or what's Jill's husband?
No, they had Zarin Fabrics. Don't you do Zarin Fabrics like that?
You're right. Well, what about Greg? I'm joking. Rest in peace. Oh, sorry.
But also, same thing. Remember, they got divorced the first time because Nene had become the breadwinner.
Yeah, that tends to happen. That's a Bravo curse that needs to be spoken about in terms of misogyny and shit like that.
Yeah,
definitely. I don't know if I want to go through another year of this. Like, I honestly, one of them got to go, and it's got to be either Kyle or Dorit. I don't want another year of divorce storylines.
That's fair.
I don't want that at all.
Yeah,
like
a lot of people are saying Kyle should go, and I don't necessarily disagree.
Oh, Kyle has to go.
Yeah,
this should be Kyle's last season. Like, no shade. Like, I think if it's true that they edited out her storming out, because they're saying that she stormed out multiple times at this reunion and they edited it out. If that's true, it's a lost cause on both ends, where production is protecting her and she's definitely going to protect herself. So we're never going to get a true storyline from her unless it involves, the women, her interacting with the women. But like her own life, that shit ain't happening.
I just don't understand why they would edit that out. Like, I don't understand how it would benefit the network in any way.
I'm very curious. What was she saying? Like, what could she have been saying that was so?
In my opinion, Andy didn't take it easy on her. Like, he held her feet to the fire, and I didn't see any point, at least from what they showed. There was nothing to me that indicated that she would have gotten to the point, or she did get to the point where she stormed out, unless they just edited it that brilliantly. But again, her storming out of the reunion would only add to the dramatics of a reunion. I still don't understand what benefit that would have done for the network or for them to edit that out.
No, I agree. Did you see the reports about Erica being asked back as a friend?
I did, but I follow a lot of Bravo accounts, a lot of blogs, and there are certain ones that if it comes from there, I believe it, but I haven't seen it on any of my trusted sources yet. But I have seen those reports.
Okay.
That also wouldn't surprise me, and I wouldn't be mad at that either. Even though I know my girl needs to check, but, what can you do?
I would love to see Bose be not the only newbie. Like, I would love to kind of see like a whole bunch of new girls come in. We need at least 3 new girls.
A lot of people are asking for Crystal back.
I never understood why Crystal got fired.
I do.
Why?
I feel like Crystal, and I think Crystal knows this now too, which I feel like while a lot of people are asking, I think Crystal never lived up to her full potential, and I feel like production kept giving her a chance. I feel like Crystal was never at a 10 as a housewife. She always looks like peaked at a 7 and wouldn't move past that because she got in her own way. And I feel like honestly, her making it to 3 seasons was more than I thought they was going to give her. I thought after 2, she might be out of there, and they let her have 3, and then she still was just kind of there.
I feel like her third season though was her third season was sad for me because I feel like I kept asking, where is this Crystal that went against Sutton?
Exactly. Yeah, she never got back to that, and that she came in really strong, and I loved her especially after that feud with Sutton, and she just never got back there again. And then she would have flashes of it. I remember the one reunion where she was coming at Kyle, and she would have like these moments here and there where you could see what she could do, but she was not consistent.
At all. Yeah, that's pretty sad. Well, I guess that was it, y'all. These little episodes are easy when it's just
we don't have Danielle and her gutter butt to talk about Mary J. Blige and the lady I never heard of.
You don't know Misa Hilton?
No, anytime Danielle says a topic, I have to research it all the way because I'm like, who the fuck are these people?
Oh my! So Misa Hilton is Diddy's ex-girlfriend, the Justin Combs, not Justin. Yeah, Justin, the light-skinned son. The one they said like allegedly likes the transgenders.
I didn't know that either. Okay, come on, breaking news all around.
Oh, my bad. Let me edit. Well, shit, Diddy in jail. What you gonna do to me?
Yeah.
Well, all right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Hot Topics. What's today? Wednesday? Oh yeah, we won't be back until next week. Oh, and then you won't be here. I need some PTO. The fuck? But I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Peace.